Okay, the other day, this was way different than when I did the live the other day. Hello. Hi. Okay, so we are here Monday Night Live now. Should I be going right now, Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay, we're here Monday Night Live right now, and we're here to talk about a couple of things. We're going to first start out. We're going to talk about President Trump first, and I'm the main one on Facebook while my husband's at work, and I'm homeschooling the children. I'm on there, and I'm seeing a lot of things going over on Facebook. Some of our friends, some of our family, some of the things that they're posting and stuff, we see it. Just because I don't respond to it doesn't mean that I don't see it. Only time I respond to it is when I just can't help it. But anyway, I just wanted to go over again some of the reasons that we support President Trump and why we should continue to support him first. And then and rebut a couple of things, like I said, that I've seen going on Facebook. And then after that, I'm going to be talking about our very personal governor's race, or we're going to be talking about it here in California, and why California is so important to the rest of the United States of America. I know a lot of our conservative friends probably feel like, oh, that has nothing to do with us. We're fine here. We're always Republican here. Everything's great here. But honestly, if you look at things like even the medium that we're on right now, that we're using to communicate with you right now, Facebook, YouTube, right here, not far from where we live right now. So one of the main things that I wanted to talk about was first thing, should I say, there's a lot of main topics, but the first thing I wanted to talk about was President Trump being the most, and I will say it without hesitation, the most pro-Christian, pro-evangelical president of my lifetime. And I've been here since 1976. Number one, that's near and dear to my heart, that's important to me, is that he doubled the tax credit for children. The tax changes that President Trump signed into law doubled it from $1,000 to $2,000 per child. That means that he is encouraging. Remember, there used to be limits on how many children you could get credit for, but that means that he's made it not a bad thing. I mean, we were almost like China. They were trying to limit us to 2 children. We're going to penalize you. You don't get credit for taking care of those children above 2 children. But he said every single child that you have. So for working Americans, folks in our situation, especially where we're a single income household, that is so important. So that makes it pro-child, pro-life, and pro-family. And it encourages the family and encourages family growth. Because one of the main things, Daniel and I work a lot with, and we support organizations that are pro-life organizations. And one of the main things that you'll hear a lot of these young single mothers say is that I just can't afford this child right now. And so their best option, in their opinion, is to abort that child. And so what President Trump did is he said, you know what, we're going to give credit where credit is due to those parents that are taking care of their children. And Daniel's kind of, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm on the phone because I'm doing the comments and doing the titles and tagging and sharing this video in the groups and things. So that's why you see me on the phone, because I don't want to be on the computer doing it while she's recording.
Tag team. Okay. And then the next thing that he did, of course, he appointed Justice Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. When going in, there's a lot of code talk and everything about pro-lifers and stuff. He had not said that he was just exactly against abortion. They couldn't find any kind of statement from him that he was exactly against abortion, but they knew he was pro-life because he believed, most of us pro-lifers believe in life, the right to life, and that means from birth to natural death. And so he had done a thing on, or a statement on, what did they call it? It's a law here now in California. die with dignity or whatever, dying with dignity or whatever. And he had done a statement on that. So as soon as I saw that, as soon as Daniel saw, I think I speak for us both, we both were like, oh, yes, he's definitely pro-life. And so we feel really, really confident about that. Not only that, but President Trump signed anti-abortion laws immediately when he got in, prohibiting the U.S. from aiding and supporting international groups that were promoting abortion. That means in other countries now, not only are we trying to bring this evil and I believe curse upon our own nation, but we're trying to push it off on the other nations. President Trump did that, got rid of that. You know, a lot of the things that Obama was pushing and stuff, he got rid of. Next thing that he did, and I've got some little notes here, that's what I'm looking at, is he signed an executive order to protect religious liberty. The Justice Department issued new guidance aimed at giving religious groups and individuals broad protections to express their beliefs when they come into conflict with government regulations, including when making hiring decisions. A lot of people I know were saying that, oh, that gives these companies the right to discriminate against transgenders and so on and so on. Well, guess what? If it's your business, if it's your company, and that conflicts with your religious beliefs, you should have the right to say. Once upon a time, you guys, it was a well-known thing that there were certain things that you just shouldn't go into a job interview looking like, and you shouldn't expect to be able to go to work wearing certain things or doing certain things, wearing a ball cap to work, different things like that. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I don't want to offend anyone, but there were a lot of rules and a lot of things that were well known that you just don't do for jobs. And now, you know, we go to places, there may be someone with some pink hair, blue hair, whatever, you know. So, and we're going there making professional decisions. We're consumers and stuff. And it's like, do we want this person doing this or doing that, you know? When we go into our bank, though, I will say, when we go into our local bank, everyone there looks professional. That's important to us. They still have their dress code. Anyway, the Health and Human Services Department also announced a new division that is aimed at protecting doctors and other medical professionals who don't want to perform abortions, that don't want to do transgender operations, or sex changes, let's just say what it is, or take parts in other types of things that go against their beliefs. In other words, when you go to work, you don't have to leave God at the door when you get ready to walk into work today. President Trump set out and did that. And then, let's see, big major thing he did. He recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Huge. Everybody thought, oh, the world's going to end. He's doing this now and so on and so on. I had a personal friend that was there sending me pictures, real-time pictures and everything for the whole event. And I was so excited. I was so excited for him. It was him and another pastor friend. They were able to really enjoy themselves there and see all of the festivities and everything. But as a Christian, the very beginning of my Bible has to do with Israel. And in Deuteronomy 28, I believe it is, the Lord says that he will bless those who blesses Israel. That is a promise that he made. And if you're a Christian believer, whether you feel like Israel has gotten off and doesn't follow all of our Christian beliefs or not, you know that God is not a man that he should lie. And you know that if he made a promise, he's going to stick to it. And so that is where we are with that. And that's how we believe in our household.
Yeah, definitely. All the things that she's naming is why the economy is it's being blessed again, and it's coming back. And there's no way that, Obama, he came up with a plan that was just going to come into effect, when he happened to be out of office, way after he's out of office. And, he didn't have a 9-year plan.
Right. I was going to say, too, we looked at that, it really upset me today. We did have a friend, I couldn't hold back, I had to comment. a friend of ours who is pro-Trump. He's conservative. He's a black man. He did go on and he said today, or made a post today, that we had to give credit. Hadn't been enough time for President Trump's initiatives to set in, that we could give him credit for the economy. But I just wanted to say, number one, I posted a long time ago that as soon as President Trump came into office, he made it his personal business, and Democrats were mad about it. He began to roll back Obama.
And Obama never went over a certain GDP the whole time that he was in office.
As a matter of fact, I hope and I pray that President Trump comes out with a magic wand. I want to see him. If he doesn't have one, my daughters have one that he could use.
And we don't believe in magic.
We don't believe in magic, but Obama said, does he have some kind of magic wand or something? Well, look at where we are today, okay?
Trump was trolling him, I think, this morning. And he was saying he must have had a magic wand or something like that because, he spoke. He said that he wasn't going to be able to do it. He said that these jobs ain't coming back.
Because he thought he killed him. He tried to kill him.
Trump got these jobs to come back. When people started believing America again, even if he hadn't done any policies or rolled back any policies, his taking assertiveness with authority and in a respectable, stronger way, and declaring that these jobs are going to come back and we're strong again and we're not just going to sit by, is what encouraged some of these people to just believe, and the stock market just began to rise and to go up. And you saw it. Right. It broke records. Right. And so, he definitely, by taking a leadership role and taking initiative, including the policies and things that he did. We have, I believe Japan invested in us. I don't remember if it was 50 million or something like that. So it was, I don't know the exact numbers, but they invested money like right away. Because they were encouraged by this president.
Right. And I took time, my little homework or whatever. Like I said, I have more time than hubby does during the day. And I wrote down, or I typed up some of the things that he did. I mentioned before, as soon as he got in within his first 100 days, he was rolling back major things with the environment, which directly impact our jobs. Those jobs that Obama had actually said could never come back because he felt like he had killed them. There was no way that coal was going to come back in different manufacturing jobs. And that's not true at all. So one of the things, or let me go down a short list. It's actually a long list of huge stuff, but I just broke it down to those things that stood out most to me. Number one was the passage of the tax reform bill, providing $5.5 billion in cuts and repealing the Obamacare mandate. Then we saw the Dow Jones reach record highs. Listen to this, you guys. Prior to President Trump coming in, he had given some businesses a sneak peek at what he was going to do with taxes and what he was going to do to incentivize job growth and jobs coming back to the U.S.
Just real quick, I just Googled it. So Japan invested $50 billion, not million, $50 billion in the U.S.
Wow.
Because he was impressed with Trump.
Awesome.
So, Obama didn't get Japan to invest $50 billion. Trump did. So, right there, that's just one thing, clear example. And Obama was saying the jobs weren't going to come back, and that people were going to just have to learn how to do computer
go back to
computers.
School.
He said they're going to have to go back to school and learn how to do things with a computer because people are going to be replaced by this, and that's what's happening. And that was the goal. And there's going to be somebody. He was saying those jobs wouldn't come back because the people wouldn't be needed anymore. Well, those jobs are back, coal jobs and steel and the things that Trump promised. I don't understand. As she keeps reading this list, these are things he said on campaigning, and he kept those promises. I don't think any president has done that as much as he's done.
Right.
If at all.
Right. And then he did an executive order to boost apprenticeships. Those are young people, like my son was a few years ago when he was entering into the construction business and stuff. So he wanted to encourage that kind of blue collar work. He prioritized, and thank you, Ivanka, I love Ivanka Trump, prioritized women-owned businesses for some $500 million in Small Business Association loans, SBA loans. Then rolling back some of the job stifling regulations. He signed an executive order demanding that two regulations be killed for every new one created. He beat that big and cut 16 rules and regulations for every one created, saving us $8.1 billion. So every time that a regulation is allowed to go against companies or job creators, then there has to be at least two removed. Breaking that down into layman's terms, that encourages businesses, okay? Then he signed 15 congressional regulatory cuts, withdrew from the Obama era Paris Climate Agreement, ending the threat of environmental regulations. I mean, come on now. This affects coal, oil, all of that, all of these environmental things that he rolled back. And actually, when he first took office, there were 70 that he initially rolled back environmental. And then one of the ones that I watch very closely because I do have a real estate background, and then Daniel and I are into real estate right now, real estate investment, and probably going, or not probably, we are going into development. So one of the things that I watch closely is he signed an executive order cutting the time for infrastructure permit approvals. I mean, if you've had to do anything, if you've ever built anything, you know that it's ridiculous, the whole process that you have to go through. Which my husband, one of the things that he loved about President Trump was his story. He loved President Trump before he even ran before there was even a candidate Trump. He always read his story, always admired how he, lost, then won again. And then
he was able to convince people to invest in him and believe in, that he can earn their money back and earn his money back. And he did it.
He did it. Because, I mean, we used to talk about, before he even ran, we used to talk about President Trump as Donald Trump back then.
And when he ran, I was saying, well, business-wise, I knew because of what she said. I had already knew that he was good at that. I said he'll have no problem there. And my main concern was, how was he going to do with the Christians, and how would how would he do? Would he do God's work? And that's what he's done. He's made it so that we can speak up through the church, because the separation of church. I
think it was the Johnson Amendment that he overturned. I think that's what it was called.
And the separation is not supposed to be, stopping the church from doing something. It's supposed to be so the state doesn't come in or the government doesn't come in and mess with what the church has to say, And so, for the Christian people, for us, he really did good. And in the Black community, especially, that is a huge thing. And and people don't realize that that's a huge thing that's gonna help win in 2020 is the Black community, because to reach them, the best thing is to reach the Christians in the Black, because a large amount, I don't care if you're from the hood and you did something wrong or you're into this or that, you don't touch the church at some point, period. If you're Black, you don't touch the church. And so that's how you reach them, because the two things don't line up. The abortions and the homosexuality and all that stuff doesn't line up with being a Christian. And so being a Democrat doesn't line up with being a Christian. And so once you start looking at things like that and looking at policies for real, instead of somebody just saying this person is racist, and then everyone starts looking at their skin, and you can no longer see what is really going on, which is, the policies and our Christian values.
Right. And I just wanted to clarify, too, it was on May 4th, 2017, that President Trump signed an executive order to defend the freedom of religion and speech for the purpose of easing the Johnson Amendment restrictions, which we're in ministry. The two of us are in ministry. That's what we do.
Well, we work with homeless women and children and helping them get back on their feet. And in doing that, where we work, the place has been there over 30-something years. And since we've been there, and since Trump's been president, we've seen more people getting houses and jobs and things under Trump. So people can say whatever they want. We're seeing it firsthand. That we're seeing people, it's like, wow, this person got a job, this person got this. And we're telling them, you can go get a job. Go get a job.
Right.
and they're going to get it.
And because I'm a numbers person, I wanted to point this out that our construction starts are back up. Like I said, I used to work for a few major home builders. Used to be a licensed California real estate agent. I'm no longer doing that now. But the building permits went up. This is the last data that they had was July 2018. The next that's going to be coming out is September the 19th, 2018, which I expect will be even higher for two reasons. Number one, we were already on an uptrend. And then number two, we're coming out of the summer months. So the building permits were at 1.3 million, housing starts 1,168,000, and housing completions 1,188,000. So that's where that is. I mean, construction is huge right now. There were some increases. Some of those numbers I just read out to you are like 11.5% increases. Then I think did you want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, I'm not going to point out where we were or what, but, living in California, we're able to kind of, because we're black, we can go somewhere and people assume that we're Democrats because we're black. And so, we're able to see what, sit in somewhere where Democrats are planning and telling us what their plans are. And their plans, I'm telling you right now,
strategic.
Yeah, they're strategic. And what they're doing is they're saying, we're going to tax you. We're going to tax this. We're going to tax this. We're going to tax this. It's crazy. Everything they're saying out there, and they believe that they're doing right. Don't get it wrong.
Some of
them, not all of them, but some of them believe that they're doing right and that they're helping people. And it's like a brainwashing because what you're saying out your mouth doesn't make sense. When you say something, this is what was said. When you say something like, if somebody owns some land and they don't, they want to pass this. If they don't develop something on that land in a certain amount of time, then we want to raise their taxes. And if they still don't do that, then we want to take that land and put some transitional housing and things like this. And so it's all they're hearing is transitional housing. They're not hearing you're trying to take somebody else's land because they're not doing with their land what you want them to do. That's not your land. You can't take it. Right. They want to tax you on your water. That
really bothered Daniel because
as owning land, if I want to take a bucket and catch some rain, and that's my rain, that's my water, that came from how you.
That bothered my. That was actually on our ballot.
And it's crazy because they were saying, oh, San Francisco has 300 million that they're doing this, and then they're gonna have this other 300 million, and then they're saying, well, they're gonna take this and they're gonna put this over here to campaign against this, and we're gonna have this extra money, so if something happens on mercy like Trump winning, then we'll do this, and whatever is left over, then the council will do whatever they want with that. Whatever they want with that, because that's their part. That's what they do. They this money is funneled and taken and paid off other politicians and things like that. The Democrats steal from the people, basically.
And I want to clarify a little bit without saying too much. What Daniel and I were privy to was actually those people that make decisions. They act as a funnel for large amounts of money that is given, and they're trying to get put this money toward getting measures on the ballot and stuff.
Yeah, some of this money goes. Don't get it wrong. Some of this money goes to things and does help things.
But very little to the things that help things. Most of it goes to political campaigning.
It's mostly covered to support their pushing their agenda and things like that. And it's crazy because if San Francisco has 300 million and then another 300 million, that's 600 million, and you want to get rid of homeless and stuff like that, you can buy a huge building and you can set up mental health here, and then you can buy another huge building and you can set up, drug prevention and drug recovery, and then you could take the rest of the money and you can build apartments, and you could take all the homeless people that don't have any of those issues or that are graduating from those two other buildings and put them in there, and you wouldn't even have homeless no more. With 600 million, San Francisco has a lot of people in it. It's a little city, but it has a lot of people in there, but that's enough to take care of that situation. So there's no reason to take this money and be doing all this other stuff that makes no sense. Right. And then trying to raise taxes and make everyone else pay for it.
It's to force their political agenda more so than
that's their important thing. But they hide behind that. That's how they get other people involved. You're like, oh, you're going to help this, just like Planned Parenthood. That sounds good, Planned Parenthood. But they're not Planned Parenthood. They're killing babies. They're planning to kill a baby. And that's their, and it sounds good when you say it, and then that's how they get people confused. What about the woman's body? And this it's not their body that's up for risk. if they choose to have abortion, it's the baby's body that's the one that's going, not theirs. And and even if they were at risk and they're like, well, I might die, or or I'm at risk with this. Me as a parent, I'll take a bullet for my children. So as a parent, as a father, as a mother, the children come first, and you protect your children. You don't kill your children so you can live. That's crazy.
Right. That's right. I love you.
But also, we have a huge list of stuff right here that's saying why Trump, the things that he did that brought this economy up, and it's so much stuff that we just highlighted some of it just to tell you because it's too much to cover.
Yeah,
This isn't everything he's done. That's just period. This is just for what made the economy grow. That's how much stuff this man has done.
Right, and it's pages. If we were to, it's pages, like 12 pages of things. But I did want to point out a few more though, because we know he withdrew us from TPP, from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Right now, we all know what's going on with NAFTA. We're dealing right now with Canada. Went and met with all of these huge business companies like Toyota, Mazda, Broadcom Limited, Foxconn, all of these places, and they made plans to build here in the U.S., which they are doing. And then he's also working to promote our products abroad. He ended Obama's deal with Cuba, which was, we're not going to go there. I could go on, like Daniel said, I could go on and on and on because there's a lot. So anyway,
man, it's like this man doesn't sleep, man. He
doesn't sleep at all.
It's like he don't sleep.
And so let's see. There we go again. Protecting life. $9 billion in his first week. $9 billion in foreign aid. He blocked $9 billion in foreign aid for abortions. Which, like Daniel said, that's huge for us as a family. Anyway, I'm gonna transition now. I'm gonna switch gears now. Even though, like I said, that was a lot. It's quite hefty, you guys, here. It's quite hefty that we have. But I want to go to John Cox now. Oh, I have to say this, though. My husband touched on it earlier, that the strength of President Trump. Peace through strength. That has been his motto. That has been the way that he has governed. That has been the way that he's presented us to the rest of the world. And it's working. So anyway, John Cox now. Number one, of course, with me, I always start from the Christian perspective and what's important to us. He is 100% anti-abortion. 100% anti-abortion. He's taken a lot of flack for that, but those that it's a big, huge touchy point for or whatever, you got to look at the man's whole plan, okay? Immigration. He rejects being a sanctuary state, and he's in favor of securing our borders immediately. Okay, so we'd have a friend of President Trump and Governor John Cox.
Hey, Sister Young.
And then, Sister Young's on there. Hi, First Lady. And then there was gas and vehicle license tax. He's going to repeal it completely. I did a little short clip. I've done some pictures showing how much we're paying at the pump. Thank the Lord that we use Safeway for a lot of our groceries. It's very convenient to where we live because I get my little points or whatever that we earn. Every now and then I get 10 cents off per gallon. But it's ridiculous, though, Caltrans and the money that's going in there. He promises that he's going to repeal that immediately. And I want to give him a chance to. Homelessness, which is important to us because, like Daniel said, the work that we do. Gavin Newsom's San Francisco streets and the public parks right now are full of used needles, poop, urine, and I'm talking about human poop. I'm not talking about animal poop, human poop right now, to the point where they are paying pooper scoopers in salary $130,000 a year, plus $55,000 in benefits. So $185,000 just to go around and scoop up poop. That is their answer to homelessness. Like Daniel was saying earlier, we were there and we heard about some of the hundreds of millions of dollars on accident. We weren't supposed to be there for that reason, but they felt very comfortable opening up about everything in front of us because of our skin color.
Deals getting in with ICE.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And no, not ICE.
Yeah.
Oh, ending the deals with
Yeah,
ICE. Yeah.
ending the deals with
And
ICE.
planning a rally. They were planning a hooray rally and all that kind of stuff. That I think it was this past weekend. And so I'm like, are these people nuts?
Not only that, but that we've seen children in class being taught
Oh,
how they can
at the
stop
college,
Trump in 2020 and the mistakes that they made against Hillary.
at
This
the
is what
college. It was a
this
college
is
that
what
we
they're
passed by.
teaching the kids in class. Literally, we saw this. They're brainwashing them in school.
They had a whiteboard that literally was talking about that. And then he promises to focus on treatment options for the mentally ill and substance addicts. Two different problems, two different solutions, you guys. He says that he promises that he will prioritize both. Okay. And that's important here in California right now. That's what we're dealing with in a huge way, major way, the housing crisis right now. And I'm one of those type people that I'm not one that's just like, well, just throw up a building or whatever for folks to live in, homeless folks to live in, just house them with our money and stuff. But I'm one that's thinking of job creation or ways people can earn that housing or whatever. But like Daniel said, the millions are there, hundreds of millions are there, and they could very well use that to end the homeless crisis. But again, their answer is just catering to the homeless. We did a video. We showed you guys in Oakland. They're putting out the porta potties and stuff for folks
They're
to
living in
use.
straight tents.
Tents. And then in Antioch, over a property that we had actually looked at investing in, there started to be a tent city, and it cost, I think Antioch was paying $1.6 million to go in for a day of cleaning it up and stuff. And guess what they said that they were doing after we had looked at investing in it years ago, by the way. Let me make sure to make that straight. But what they did is they said that they were going to charge the property owners for them having to go in and clean up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're just in this.
Yeah, if you have been in the meeting we were in, I mean, their answer to everything was, we're going to tax this,
Tax,
and we're going to
tax, tax,
we're going
tax.
to raise taxes on this, and then I don't even think they realized, because when I'm from California, Courtney's from Louisiana, so one, she had never even seen someone homeless by the
Never.
time when she came out here. This when she seen stuff like that, because in a conservative area compared to a Democratic area, it's a completely different story, and it's just crazy. I mean, the way that the difference is out here compared to that area where conservatives are over things. I mean, it's like night and day. I really don't understand how we can just let that happen. And when the video that we made, it really shows this is the results of Democratic policies. When you look at that, where it's just tense and the people are, they're voting for this. They don't understand that, and you're thinking that the policies that you're voting for, when you're being raised out here in California in a Democratic place, you're thinking that it's for the right things, because they're telling you, well, Republicans raise taxes and they do this and this, and that's how I was raised, and and they're for the poor and for people of color. And then when you look at it and you look at the history of them being the KKK party, and you look at what's going on that, with Trump, they're cutting taxes and cutting regulations, and Democrats are raising taxes and seeing how they can take other people's money to pay for things they want to do. That's socialism.
I wanted to close with this, though. I know we're like 14 minutes now into the Raiders game tonight. I really, really pray. Daniel and I were talking about it the other day. We need to make our voice strong, and we need the NFL to know, we need Nike to know that we are not playing with them. We need to stand together as a community, because there was precious blood. The very meaning of our national anthem, what Francis Scott Key witnessed that night, that our flag was still there. That is just so horrific for anyone to desecrate, for anyone to in any way disrespect our national anthem, our flag, the song in honor of our flag, and all of the blood that has been shed and the lives lost. And the sad part about it is folks don't realize they are enjoying all of these freedoms because of what Francis Scott Key saw that night. The bombs bursting in air. In the morning time, our flag was still there. For me, you guys, sometimes I get emotional when I'm teaching my children. Sometimes I even start crying when we're going over this because I want them to know, because oftentimes they forget, so this is like a repeat thing, with my children, reminding them and telling them of the importance of this. We kneel for Jesus and we stand for our flag. Our soldiers stood. They stood for us and they continue today to stand for us. And any soldier friends we have, we want to say thank you for your service. My mother-in-law is a veteran. We go into the VA and everybody there, when I take her to her appointments, they're thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. And I love it. I love it.
My uncle and my brother said.
That's right. And so my dad was in the Army. So the list just goes on and on and on and on. So we just want everyone that's watching to be encouraged. You want to end it now?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Everyone that's watching to be encouraged. Get out there. Let your voice be heard. Do what you can. Do whatever it is that God gives you to do, especially leading up to these midterms. They are extremely important. We've got some extremely important measures on our ballot coming up. We're going to be talking about those. Proposition 6 is one of those that I wanted to talk to Californians about especially. And we need to make sure that we get support in the House and the Senate for our president, for what he's trying to do. That's the only thing that's holding up a lot of the things he's trying to do.
And believe, we're going to take back California. If we can get the governor in, if we can get Cox in for governor, which he's close right now, to Newsom, because the media will make you think we can't win, but it's more, we live here. And when we look at the demographic of everything, there's more conservative areas. There's large Democratic areas, but there's more conservative areas.
Right.
And,
I posted a picture of the map on one of the videos showing how red California
what people
was.
don't really realize is that California leads a lot of things. So what happens here in all the other Democratic states, it'll be a wave. So if you want the red wave, please show support to our movement, because that red wave, a large part of it can really change here. When in California, if we take that, that's a huge blow to the Democratic Party. And just like what Newsom did, the one that's running for governor right now, the Democratic person that's running for governor, what he did was we all voted against gay marriage, and he went and he just passed gay marriage anyway in San Francisco. He started giving them the licenses, and what ended up happening is they just did it everywhere. They just passed it everywhere because of that. Yeah. That's where it started. A lot of people probably don't know that. If you're not from here, you don't know. That's why that happened. So that's how important California is. So, if we take California, we're chopping the head off.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's a wrap. Oh, I did want to encourage this.
Tune in, too. Tune in on Monday.
Next Monday, 7 o'clock. Meet us here if you're not watching the NFL. Hopefully you won't be.
Yep. Share this video and join our group on Facebook, California Conservative Group. Even if you're not from California, join the movement. And also,
and give your dollars here. If your state is safe red, give your dollars over here. Give your dollars to our senatorial candidates.
If your state is safe red, then and govern other places, especially here.
And we've got Obama coming here on the stump. So the fact that he's coming here on the stump means that there's some movement going on. Okay.
They're trying to
running scared.
Yeah, they're running scared. So and also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not subscribed, and share this video. So you guys have a blessed day.
God bless everybody. God bless y'all. So I hit it for you.